welcome to this. Eleanor, I've just seen you jump in. We're literally just getting started, so thank you so much for joining. Okay, so I guess to kick things off, I'm Andy Gibson. I'm the company director of Wild Tribe, which is really a B2B marketing agency. My career has been very much focused on B2B marketing for my entire career, 18 years. I've been doing this, and for the first probably 12 years, I worked as a tech B2B marketer. So in the tech sector, very fast-paced sector, when things were just kind of getting going with things like Internet of Things, networking, voice over IP, all those good things. And through that journey, ended up working with a lot of good companies, a few companies like HP, Cisco, Microsoft. And then at the end of that journey, when I was around about 30, I moved over to running our own marketing agency, which is obviously a lot smaller and a lot more focused on the renewable energy sector. Now, through doing through obviously living a life in B2B marketing, one of the common denominators, one of the common themes that we're always talking about is the customer journey. I really believe as marketers, we have to be very empathetic to the customer journey and really try and understand the customer experience that people are feeling today. Now, I really feel like this session is fantastic for anyone who is at a strategic level in a organization, a leadership level, really to kind of understand the concept of customer journeys and how important that is to your business, but also from a marketer's perspective. So I have this session here. We're going to try and keep it to probably about a 30-minute run through, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. There are a number of slides, but they each lead into one another, and I've done this presentation a few times now, and hopefully it's a useful session for you. Now, what I would say is just pop any questions that you have in the comments as we go through, and we can get to those at the end of the session. I think we've got mics and videos set for this session. So at the end, what we might do is just ask you to unmute and ask your question. Quite a open session, very friendly session. I think from a marketing agency, we're a friendly bunch and keen to have a chat through these philosophies and methodologies. So, right, let's get going. With that preamble over. So, okay, your host for today's webinar. So that's me, Andy Gibson, Wild Tribe leader. So we've jumped through that. The agenda. Obviously, we've got what is a customer journey, why is building customer journeys essential, and the context of the 21st century on customer journeys. And then we've got a few bits and pieces on the right-hand side. So we did a big study and we'll get into that. And then we have every company's customer journey is different and how to think about yours. And then we'll do a little wrap up and we'll get into Q&A. So what is a customer journey? It's a key concept obviously of this session to understand that we have a number of different customers and customer types. So we have external customers, so they could be someone who's purchasing a product or a service from your business. You have internal customer types, so that's a concept whereby if I'm the company director, then my internal customers are my team, and I want to think about how I interface with my team and how they're informed about the business and about what it's doing and its vision, who it works with, and the services that it provides. So internal customers are key for us to understand. We have obviously investors or partners that are maybe looking at our business in a different way to a potential purchasing customer, and then we have talent and recruitment. So our agency obviously works a huge amount in the renewable energy space. When you go to our website, you'll see that we're renewable energy focused as a business. Within that sector, recruitment is a key conversation to be having. So how you look as a business attractive to potential recruits and how you take them through a customer journey is obviously key. Now, no matter who your customer is, so whoever you define as your customer, they're going to go through these stages. So you have your discovery stage. This is really how you're found as a business, how people are actually going to bump into you as an organization. Consideration, once I've found your business, then I'm going to go through a number of steps personally to consider, do I want to work with you? Conversions, that's the tools that you're going to use to help me move from a place of on the fence to, okay, yeah, let's give you my details, let's have a conversation. And then retention is really thinking about, as a business, how am I going to retain my customer base and turn you into an advocate, which is the final stage where you're going to really shout about the brilliant work that we do as a business. So no matter who your customer is, internal, external, a potential partner or potential investor, potential employee, they're going to go through these stages, and there's different thinking that they're going to make at each one of them, and we're going to get into that. Now, a key quote to start embedding in your thoughts. So a lot of this, obviously, that we're running through is philosophy and methodology, and less getting into the nitty gritty of actually how to, say, for example, build a website or how to write a social post. This is really on the philosophical and the methodological, if that's the method that's associated to this. So if you think philosophical, 85% of customers, of consumers, say they'll consider a brand if they trust it. That's huge. As soon as that trust breaks down from a customer, from a potential employee, the smallest breakdown, and we step away. 84% of B2B buyers say that a vendor's corporate social responsibility values, so things like equality, sustainability, community giving, are key factors in an organization's purchasing decision. So we'll repeat these things throughout the session because it's really key to understand that today, I believe more than ever before, and this is growing in sentiment. We care more about or just as much about the values of an organization and what it believes in than what it does. And we really want to know who we're striking a partnership with when we're purchasing that product and software, and what their values are and what you represent. So that's key to consider in your customer journey. People aren't just buying what the products that you sell, they're buying you as a business. So context around the importance of customer journeys. So I always like this photo. There is a big difference between what we want to say and what the customer wants to hear. So we always have these premonitions about, oh, we're a brilliant company because this, and this. But actually what the customer wants to hear can be very different to what we're thinking. Often we see big organizations with a huge amount of history putting their history at the forefront of their value proposition. So we've been in this market for 200 years and we've got a legacy of this, and it's a family business, and that's brilliant, and that probably comes in the consideration stage maybe later on, but up front we probably want to know something else. And when you start asking questions like this, it then becomes obvious. So what is the number one reason a customer wants to buy what we sell? We need to define that in a customer journey, because that's the first thing that a customer is going to ask. And until you answer that question, they're not going to move to the next stage in a customer journey. So what does success look like to this customer? What objections or concerns might they have? And how do they make a decision between competing options? So when we get to the end of the cycle and I've gone, right, I've reviewed 3 bits of software or 3 service providers, what is my buying criteria? How am I making this final decision now that I've whittled it down to 3? And we want to understand that. So you can see quite quickly from one end of a customer journey to the other why it's really important for us to ask these questions and understand them. So plotting a customer journey allows you to handle those key questions and really in a methodical way that makes sense without overwhelm. So I really emphasize this overwhelm probably in a few slides time, but it's very much about how much information someone can consume in one bite, um, and really how much they need to consume, because initially they're just looking to understand enough information to make the decision if they should continue the journey with you, if they should move further down along the journey to the right. So I love this quote. It came out of a huge philosophy book on I think it's called The Philosophy of Influence or something along those lines. But commitment and consistency, we all have a strong desire to be consistent with our actions. That's built into us. That's human nature. And once we make a commitment, we are more likely to follow through with consistency. Now, what that means from a marketing context is we need to onboard a customer with just the key information to enable a quick decision, and then we build. So with that philosophy in mind, it's so important, for example, on the H1 of your website, so that the top line of a website or the top line of a sales brochure to say exactly what it is that you do. There's websites and value propositions that often lead with values or statements that feel good and help show the beliefs of a business, but leave the consumer or the buyer in a place where they don't really understand what that means to them and what you do. So, for example, we're a B2B marketing agency for the renewable energy sector and clean tech sector. That's our H1 as a business. If you install solar PV for commercial buildings, say that. It's really important because your customer comes to your site and within 3 seconds makes a decision to say, do you do what I want? And if they can make that quick decision, say, yes, I'm in the correct place, you do what I need and what I want, then we can build that relationship from there. Then they can start to ask the question, okay, you do what I want. Now, are you the type of business that I want to work with? So, and this comes into these questions. So we generally start off with, does this do what I want? Yes or no? If it's a yes, I'll move to, does this company align with who I am? Do they have the right values? Do they align with my personality and my character traits and my values? Yes, that they do. How can I find out more? Right, let's have a look at some blog articles. Let's look at some resources. Maybe I'll sign up to a newsletter. Okay, what other options are there in the market? So now I've kind of made the decision that you're in my list for deeper consideration. Let me go and have a look at the marketplace and think about what other options there might be, because I've decided you're in my bucket to review. And then I'll think about these other options. Do they align better with me and my needs? Can I personalize this service or product better for what I need as a business? And then I get down to, okay, I'm happy to talk. Let's take this further in the sales cycle. So this is how you're starting to build that understanding of the customer journey. So you can see at each stage we start to deepen our commitment, and it's really the company's role, so that the marketer's role in that business, to make this journey as seamless and helpful and engaging as possible to suit me. And if you're perhaps thinking, does it pay to think like that? Does it pay to take this stance with your marketing? Well, Temkin Group, who are a huge customer experience research firm and consulting firm, so they evaluated companies that are earning 1 billion annually, and they basically came out with a big report that showed that you can expect to earn on average an additional 700 million within 3 years of investing in customer experience. There's a clear connection between company growth and better company performance, and then thinking about customer experience and aligning your business to customer experience. And I think that is very logical. So now how to think about the context of a customer experience in today's world. This is what this next section is about, because we kind of have to start putting ourselves in the shoes of a customer. And this is, I guess, where we start thinking like a marketer, where you have to be empathetic. You have to be able to put yourself in the shoes of your prospect customers and think, I'm going to deliver this proposition and this positioning and messaging and this customer journey to this customer base, and this customer base is thinking about these things. So now these sections are very high level. So if we think high level about the context of our customer journeys, today our customers are coming up against a number of things. So we're all experiencing, when we're thinking about being a buyer or a consumer, we're all dealing with social, environmental, political, and economic forces. And as a business, do you get that? And do you understand what I'm up against and who I am? And do you stand for something that I can get on board with? This is very key. The next thing is trust is thin on the ground, is thin on the ground. We're all done with being lied to. We're also done with companies casually emitting damaging truths about their business. We question everything more today than ever before. Really important to understand, because we're also frustrated with things coming out in the news about, for example, there's a lot of things coming out in the news at the moment that are quite controversial to be talking about. I've seen, and this is probably not the place to be talking about it too much, but there's a lot of stickers that are going around and being put on Teslas at the moment. So owners of Teslas that bought Teslas when they felt like their values aligned with Tesla as a business, now that they feel like their values don't align with Tesla, they're putting stickers on their car to say, I bought this car pre-knowing this information. So this is the thing. We have to make sure that our marketing aligns correctly, and that we don't overinflate the truth or omit information that someone will clearly find out later down the line, because that massively damages the trust of your audience, and then you'll see the impact on your revenue immediately because of that. So technology evolution, so a very different consideration. So here we have 90% of B2B customer journeys now start with a Google or AI search or a social post engagement. And over 70% of a decision about whether to work with a company is made before reaching out to a salesperson. Now, we need to actually do some digging into this stat, because there's a lot of information about how searches are moving from Google to AI and the impact of that. But you can see technology evolution is impacting our customer journeys, and it's impacting our expected experience as well. So I want an experience I expect as a customer from a company in today's world, not the past or the distant future. So if you imagine, for example, we're a small business, it's fair to kind of set the expectation that your customer isn't going to expect the same customer experience that they get from Apple. Apple has a huge budget to spend on customer experience. So as a small business, there's a alignment of what you would expect. I think it's fair to say these images, don't have an experience that's rough as old boots. This image is futuristic. If your website is full of AI images that are in the future, but you're selling a very modern and traditional product, then that might not align to your customer base. Real is rare. Keep it. Obviously, that's saying keep it real, but that's the experience that we want. Now, we did a study of 15 global brands. So again, in the context of customer journeys in today's world, we undertook a huge study that probably took us around about 4 to 5 months to evaluate brands on this right-hand side. So these are billion-pound brands, 15 global brands, to evaluate their customer journey. We effectively created a criteria, a 220-point rating system. We analyzed those 5 stages of the customer journey that I talked about, so discovery, consideration, conversion, etc. And we applied our customer-centric marketing philosophies and a transparent criteria. Off the back of that, we found that companies that were very strong in the discovery stage, so they'd really thought about how people perceive them from the first second they engage with their business, we're then very strong throughout consideration and conversion stage. Whereas vice versa, if you're very good at consideration or very good at conversion, it didn't necessarily mean that you were very good at discovery. Technology sector performed best, aerospace performed second, renewables third. So I think that probably showcases the competitiveness, the maturity of these sectors, and then the marketing in kind. Beyond the stats, so this is, I think, a really important thing to highlight. Beyond the stats, every company in our top 5 has seen robust year-on-year growth. So that backs up the stat from Temkin. But there is a huge 130-point difference between the top of our table and the bottom. And that's really a chasm. And it shows a huge opportunity that exists between good and bad in billion-dollar companies. And then when you look at the strength of a customer journey, as you go down the size, the company size, it only gets wider. That chasm grows. So the reason why I say this and why I rate it on billion-dollar companies is these are organizations that have the money to have the best customer experience in the world. There shouldn't be too much of a difference between these organizations. They should all have fantastic customer journeys. But say for Infineon at the top versus a Medjet at the bottom or a Meridian Energy, the customer journeys are drastically different. And you would notice that yourself if you were to go to those sites. And they shouldn't be. But as you go down the company size, again, that chasm gets bigger. So the opportunity to improve customer experience across your customer journey is huge. It is a great way for you to step above the competition, put your head above the parapet, and differentiate yourself in the marketplace. So that's quite a lot of information to kind of take in, but we'll move into the next stage. Every customer journey is different. How to think about yours in 4 key areas. Again, there's a fair amount of information in this, and I think when I run through this, you can see this is all the type of information as a marketing agency we're considering when we're working with customers. This is all the bits that are going through our mind from the philosophy and the methodology side of things. So every customer journey is different. How to think about yours in 4 key areas. So communicate as people to people. We're very much of the sentiment that using the name B2B can be part of the problem. We forget that we're communicating to people. 2/3 of business buyers say they need brands to understand their needs and wants before making a buying decision. So that's from HubSpot. So let's talk to people as if they're people and not faceless companies. In assessing the top 5 companies in our customer journey lead table, we found that they posted regularly about their team, about talent in their team, about their brand values, and about their partners. So collaboration posts, who are their friends? So that, for me, is saying that our top 5 in our lead table kind of understand the fact that we're speaking to people. And these people want to understand who are the people in our business and what we care about and who are our friends. And they want to know that information just as much as the more traditional information about B2B editorial, so thought leadership and product-centric posts. So as a marketing agency, when we're thinking about our content strategy, we're seeing how we can tell people and give people an understanding about our clients in these areas, not just what do they do and what are their benefits. So communicated, another key aspect is obviously as a person, I want to receive information in a range of different styles. It's not just I want to receive information in text-based format all the time. So using a variety of styles from employee interviews to infographics, video and sound, bite posts, obviously photographic and artwork, varying up the style of communication allows the information to be absorbed a lot better. You're thinking about how you're communicating to your audience, but also heavy use of community engagement tools. So when we looked again at the top 5 in our list, things like webinars and podcasts, industry surveys, and even a dedicated group on social media platforms were used by our top 5. When you look further down the league table, these things don't really exist. So they're not really thinking, how can I engage my community straight away, or how can I think about interfacing directly with them? Yes. So your evolving customer traits. We're seeing more complex customer journeys. We've touched upon this, I guess, earlier in the technological side of things. People are coming into your customer journey from different points. So a few stats to consider here. 70% of B2B buyers say they research companies directly on their website. So obviously it's showing that your website is key to that customer journey. 31% say they now spend more time researching companies on social media. So that's LinkedIn for B2B. Obviously, we've got other platforms that are coming into play as well now, where platforms such as X or Twitter have fallen offline. Blue Sky is coming in. We have 29% use peer recommendations via review websites. So as simply as using, say, Google reviews or Trustpilot and systems like that. So a customer journey is non-linear and incredibly diverse, and they're not just looking for your benefits and features, but your reputation and values. So as a customer, I will buy things that I bump into on Instagram. I'll buy things because I've researched them on ChatGPT, on AI, or because I've stumbled across it on LinkedIn, or because a trusted advisor to me, a peer, has said, you need to look at this software, or you need to look at this company. So you can see how a customer journey is non-linear and people are entering from different places. B2B buyers are getting younger. So this is the next consideration. B2B buyers are getting younger. Now, 73% of those who participate in buyer research are millennials, and half of those are sole B2B decision makers. So if we think about the demographic, it is changing. And in this, we're just obviously quoting about millennials here, but soon we're going to be thinking about how Gen Z are becoming key B2B decision makers that we need to be talking to. So why does this matter? So millennials are more than any other demographic are more likely to be altruistic and donate to charity. And buyers expect brands to keep this in mind and build relationships with them in ways that align with their values and behaviors and expectations. So yeah, I think that's key there. So I'll move on. So how do you cater for the change in expectations? So two parallel paths. So as a buyer, that's a millennial, I really want to understand that a company that I'm going to partner with has a strong vision and they amplify authentic and respected values. I really do care about that as a B2B buyer, and I believe our audience does too. So align that, make sure that you understand why you're in business, why your company is operating, and what its vision is. And does that align with the customer base and the markets that you work in? And the next one is innovation. Develop your use of the digital landscape so that you're at the forefront of innovation and personalization in customer journeys. It's so important to keep moving the needle in terms of that customer journey and innovating, looking around you and seeing what your competitors are doing, seeing what companies and brands that you aspire to be are doing, and see how you can keep moving on that same journey. So a lot of information there. The third way to think about your customer journey is how you're serving your community. And this is a kind of a key phrase from, I believe, a marketer, I think he called Michael Godin. I think it's Michael Godin. Now I'm definitely sure I've got his surname right, but serve your community. It's really about stepping away from being the focal point of your community, or being the brand that you want your community to circle around. And it's more thinking about how you serve your community. You're there to serve them. The greatest companies are fans of their fans. We absolutely love our customers in the renewable energy sector. We want to see them thrive, and we're huge fans of what they're doing. And similarly, for your business, you want your company to be fans of of their fans. So when B2B buyers were asked in a survey about what customer loyalty means, 74% said it's about feeling appreciated and understood. And again, that's about your community, serving your community, understanding your community. Your most loyal and vocal fans should be the people standing by your side, which is your team. Again, when we're thinking about our community and we're thinking about who our customers are, your team, your valued workforce are often the people who are interfacing with your community, and they really want to be vocal and loyal fans of your business. They want to love who you are as a company and your vision, and show customers that you care with quality, sense-making, helpful, and worthy marketing content. So this is where, stepping away from the AI list of here's another top 10 or here's another top 20 of this and that, and really understand what is the content that is worthy of your audience reading. What are the pain points that they're feeling? What are their barriers? What are their challenges? What do they aspire to? What do they really want to engage with when it comes to marketing resources? And make sure whatever you're doing is sense making and helpful. Brands with robust omni-channel customer engagement strategies, they retain an average of 89% of their customers in comparison to 33% with weak strategies. So again, this is when we're thinking about serving our customer, we have to understand that our customers engage with us in different ways. So today we use an omni-channel approach where we're thinking about how we communicate across social, how we do it across email, how we do it across a website, how we perhaps leverage PR, how we then use our own platforms like a webinar, because people want to engage with us again in different ways, and this plays into that. So keep innovating. This one's nice and short. Success is not a destination. Today's innovation is tomorrow's old tech. So this is just reinforcing about keeping your customer journey moving forward. One survey found that only 11% of a new product consumers remained engaged in the product after a year. With a whopping 130 point or a 59% difference between our table's best and worst performers, it's very clear that some companies have missed an evolutionary step, whereby once in the past their customer journey may have been on point, they've perhaps gone a decade and not thought about their website, and we're 10 years on and the customer journey has now evolved way past the journey that they're providing. Keep evolving. The adoption curve, I mean, this talks about the chasm, this talks about how someone moves through the adoption, or how a customer base moves through the adoption of technology, but it's really the same with your business. When you hit the pragmatists, you need to start continually innovating. Don't let that adoption drop off and become old hat. Keep moving that forward. A warning shot across the bow: 50% of customers will switch to a competitor after a single unsatisfactory experience. There's a risk to inaction in your marketing. So the moment that your marketing and your customer experience starts to fall behind the curve, if there's an experience that happens that isn't expected, that's now 3 years old, someone's going to be thinking, well, I feel like I can get a better experience now from one of your competitors who's more up to date. So to wrap things up, 80% of organizations expect to compete mainly on customer experience, but few really take action to improve. And that's from Gartner. Creating consistent, value-driven and human-centric customer journeys across all the ways your customers find you online is vital to creating genuine brand experiences that develop trust and deliver results. And behind this stands a robust vision and a clear purpose for your business. Be brave and go boldly forward. So there we go. Thanks for your time. That's a full wrap-up, full overview of how we're thinking from a philosophy and a methodology perspective to your customer journey when we're working with a customer and when we're consulting clients from an agency perspective. A lot of that information has come together through digesting huge B2B marketing books, brand books, constantly reviewing reports, coming out from your top people like HubSpot and Salesforce and organizations like that, and the lived experience as a marketing agency leader. So I'll probably stop there and hand over to say, are there any questions that you'd like to put your hand up and ask? So to my moderator, Charlotte, do you have anything there?
Hello, from moderator Charlotte. We don't have any in the chat. I'm sure there's quite a lot inside of this presentation to digest. There's an awful lot of stuff and learnings from all across marketing. So what I will do is, for all of you and for anyone that's watching this on the recap, which I know a lot of people do, I'm popping into the chat a link, a copy of our customer journey report, which is where you can find all of the stats and research included in this webinar. And all you need to do is fill in your email address and you'll get emailed across a copy. So yeah, hopefully you find that helpful. Thanks very much, Andy, for running us through all of your wonderful wealth of customer journey knowledge. We've got Eleanor is typing, so I will just let Eleanor finish before I sign everyone off. Brilliant. Thank you. Super interesting. Thanks, Eleanor. Great to have you. Great to have you on the webinar. Thanks for the feedback.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us on this webinar. Everyone that registered will be sent a lovely recap. If you ever need any marketing help or get lost in the weeds on your customer journey, you know where to find us, Wild Tribe. We are B2B marketing experts. Thanks very much again, and I hope you have a great afternoon.